Okay, let's dive into this incredible story that flips everything we think we know about wealth on its head. It turns out that getting rich isn't about being a genius, it's about how you act.
So, we're going to start with a tale of two guys, polar opposites really, and their stories reveal a powerful secret about money. We've got a janitor on one side and a top finance executive on the other. And trust me, how their stories end is probably not what you're thinking.
All right, so on one hand, you've got Ronald Reed, a guy who spent his life fixing cars and sweeping floors in Vermont. And on the other, Richard Fiscone. We're talking Harvard-educated, big-shot finance executive with a mansion so big it had 2 elevators and 7 garages.
Now get this, when one of these guys passed away, he left behind a staggering $8 million fortune. And no, he didn't win the lottery or get some huge inheritance. This was built from the ground up, just by saving what little he could and patiently investing it for decades.
So, who do you think it was? The guy with the fancy degree and the massive paycheck, or the one with the broom and the toolbox?
You guessed it, or maybe you didn't. It was the janitor, Ronald Reed, and the Harvard exec, Richard Fiscone. Well, his lavish spending and mountains of debt caught up with him, especially during the 2008 financial crisis. He went completely bankrupt, lost it all.
And this is the whole point, right? Getting good with money has very little to do with your IQ. It's not a hard science like physics. It's a soft skill. It's psychology. It's all about how you behave.
So to really get why this happens, we have to dig into these kind of invisible forces that are always shaping our money decisions. And a huge part of that is just realizing that your own personal view of the world isn't the only one out there.
The first big idea is no one is crazy, you know? Your financial choices, they make perfect sense to you because of what you've been through. I mean, if you grew up when the economy was booming, you probably see stocks as an amazing opportunity. But if you grew up during a tough recession, you might see them as a total gamble. And here's the thing, neither of you is wrong. You've just lived in different realities.
And this just perfectly shows how much luck and risk play into things. They're really just two sides of the same coin. Think about it. Bill Gates was a genius, no doubt, but he also had this incredible 1 in a million stroke of luck to go to a high school that even had a computer back in 1968. At the same time, his friend, Kent Evans, just as smart, just as driven, had a 1 in a million stroke of bad luck. It just goes to show how much is completely outside of our control. Okay, so knowing all that about these invisible forces, how do we actually use it to build wealth? Well, it's not about learning some super complex financial strategy. It's really about getting a handle on a few simple core ideas.
And the biggest, most powerful one of all, compounding. It's where your money makes money, and then that money starts making its own money. Kind of like a tiny snowball that just gets bigger and bigger as it rolls downhill. And the king of compounding, of course, is Warren Buffett. But the key isn't just that he was a great investor, it's that he was a great investor for, get this, 75 years. This is just mind-blowing. Over 95% of Warren Buffett's entire net worth came after his 65th birthday. Think about that for a second. If he'd been like a normal person, started in his 30s and cashed out in his 60s, we probably would have never even heard of him. His real secret isn't just skill, it's time. And this brings us to a really important distinction: the difference between being rich and being wealthy. They're absolutely not the same thing. Being rich is what you see, the fancy car, the huge house. It's about your current income. But being wealthy, that's what you don't see. It's the money you haven't spent. Yeah, true wealth is the money that's still in your bank account, quietly growing. It's the car you didn't buy, the expensive upgrade you passed on. It's about having options and flexibility. And honestly, spending money just to show other people how much money you have is pretty much the fastest way to end up with less money. All right, so getting wealthy is one challenge. But you know what? Staying wealthy? That's a whole different ballgame. It requires a completely different mindset. It's the difference between offense and defense.
Look, making money in the stock market isn't a free lunch. There's a price you have to pay, but it's not a dollar amount on a sticker. The price is dealing with the volatility, the fear, the doubt, the gut-wrenching uncertainty when you see the market tank. These scary drops, they're just part of the deal.
And that's the absolute key right there. You have to learn to see that stomach-turning volatility as the price of admission, like buying a ticket to get into the park, not as a fine you get for doing something wrong. If you can stomach paying that fee, you get to stick around long enough to let that compounding magic really work for you.
So you see the big difference in skills. Getting rich often takes risk, optimism, putting yourself out on a limb. But staying rich, that's all about survival. It's about being humble and maybe even a little paranoid. It's about knowing you could lose everything just as fast as you made it.
Which really brings us to the big question. What's the point of all this anyway? Why even bother building wealth in the first place? It's not about the Lamborghinis or impressing people. It's for something so much more valuable.
The real goal, the highest form of wealth, isn't about owning more stuff. It's about controlling your own time. It's about freedom. That is the ultimate dividend that money can ever pay.
Just think about it. Waking up in the morning and being able to say, you know what, I can do whatever I want today. That feeling brings a kind of deep, lasting happiness that no flashy purchase ever could. That control over your own life, that is the greatest return on investment you could ever hope for. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a question. What's the story that you're telling yourself about money? Are you playing the game of looking rich, or are you quietly building real wealth? Is what you're doing every day actually getting you closer to what truly matters to you? Because in the end, it's that behavior that will write your financial story.